Hey guys, how you doing? Hope everybody's doing well. So I just wanted to talk real quick about something. If you're watching videos on YouTube about um, reselling in eBay and Amazon FBA, a lot of stuff that comes up is scaling your business, and then it seems like the next thing is private label. Now, scaling your business isn't of a huge interest to me just because I am more interested in keeping my business small, flexible, and manageable than getting huge. But another thing that comes up all the time is private label, which would be very easy to manage on your own. But there is a caveat to it. And the reason I bring that up is to say that it's not all about the money, which, our goal is, whether your goal is just to provide for your family or whether your goal is to, become a millionaire, whatever that is, regardless, you got to think about the consequences of those around you to a point. And with the reason I bring that up in the context of private label is a lot of the private label, which most statistics are made up on the spot, but in general 90% of that private label stuff is just low quality Chinese made bulk products that you can have your logo or your brand put on and then shipped over and sell on Amazon. And if that's your business model, there's people that are going to buy it, and that's fine. And building a brand is a lot of work. It's another thing where the payoff can be huge, but it's not easy. Chris over at 10K on the Bay, he's kind of doing a slow build with his low-key husky side of it, which that's cool. And he kind of has the same philosophy I do on that, which is there's a comedian, Jackie Cation, that really put it right when she sells shirts with her name and logos and stuff on them at her gigs and things like that, at her events. And her logic to that is she is willing to wear clothes made by children, but she is unwilling to sell them. So therefore, her merch costs a little more. I own 2 of her t-shirts, and they cost a little more. They're between 20 and 25, 30 bucks because they're union made in the US, and that's because she has some social and ethical responsibility in there. So we all have to make that decision on our own, but just think about what your business decisions do to the environment and the people around you. So it's something as simple as, I drive a big truck. I drive an SUV right now. The SUV I bought because, which reminds me, I need to reset my trip. I bought because I don't need to have the fuel mileage being used that my other vehicle had that I'm selling, because I don't need 2 one-ton vehicles. So I bought an SUV, I fit an SUV, the SUV fits my business needs, and it gets roughly around 20 miles a gallon. Some people think they need to buy a Prius, or electric car. Decide for yourself, financially how that fits your business, but also think about, in your area of the country, what generates your electricity. Is it really cleaner than running a fairly decent fuel efficient car if you're filling up with electricity at home, but everything around you is powered by coal power plants, which where I live, coal is still the major power provider in my area of the country. So what is it doing? There was a study that a couple different places did, which it's probably slighted a little bit, but there's still some truth to it, of the fact that a new Ford F-350 one-ton truck with a diesel had a smaller carbon footprint and smaller overall cost than a Prius, because it didn't have these heavy metals made for the batteries, and things shipped back and forth across the Pacific Ocean like 3 times to make that car. So just be informed about your decisions before you make them. How you make them is your personal choice. But I mean, a good example of a private label product, I got my new wallet. And that wallet is, I'm 99.9% sure, is a private label product. It came made from China, has their brand in it. It was only $30. I do leather work. My father-in-law taught me how to do leather work. I've made gun holsters for people. I've made belts. I've made, wallets, all kinds of stuff. I just didn't have time to make this long wallet, and this was $25, and it had really good reviews. I got it, and I see why. It's probably going to last me 2 to 5 years. Now, a handmade real leather wallet will last long enough with some care and maybe some restitching to last a lifetime, and you could give it to your kids. The stitching and liner on this aren't going to last that long. So again, when I talk about quality, is it a good product for the price? I would say so, yeah. Are all private label stuff? A lot of them is just there to make money. It's not there to add value. So that's why I am interested in private label. I have a couple slogans that I've come up with that I like. But for me, right now, I just haven't messed with it much because that cost of to get started, if you go the cheap import route, you're talking a few $1,000s. You're more like double or triple that when you try to do everything locally, just because it costs more. So off and on, I'm still kind of toying with that idea and looking for a company that's local to my state or local to my region, to where I could do something and actually be proud of a product that I put out. But I won't just put my name or make a brand and put my brand on a product that, because of what I've learned, is causing more harm than good to the environment. That's why I'm really interested, and I've been really pushing eBay, is because you take a lot of the stuff, and yes, we do generate a lot of shipping stuff, but on the other side of that coin, there's a lot of stuff that would just get thrown away or destroyed or, go to waste, that we're giving it a new life, essentially, which is just kind of cool. Whether it's clothes or whether it's electronics or whatever it is, if you're making it better and you're giving those devices or those items a new life and making a living at it, that's great. You're not creating new items. You're just finding better uses for existing stuff, which is the opposite of that, consumerism. Buy new, replace, gotta have the newest thing. So, everybody, you have to make your own choice based on what you're doing and what you feel and what you know, but just kind of be aware of how your decisions affect, obviously your family and friends and your community, but then overall, the big picture, what does it do to everything else? So, just, I don't know, I wouldn't even call it a rant, just my 2 cents on that. And a lot of stuff, and a lot of resellers and, big YouTubers talk about that. And there's a few that I'm sure have done it and they're making good money at it. And I don't slight any or, discredit anybody for doing the import route. If it's making money, that's what it does. But it's just personally not something I'm interested in. And the whole point of my eBay and reselling business is to make a living to support my family. Hopefully it's, a good living, better than what I do working full time. And to be, aware and help out those that are around me as much as I possibly can. So anyway, that's what it is for what it's worth. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. Questions, they go there too. These videos help you, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see what comes out next. Till next time, have a great one. Catch y'all later.